At 200 meters, sunlight disappears forever. At 1,000 meters, pressure is 100 times what it is on the surface, enough to crush a steel submarine in seconds. At 4,000 meters, creatures evolve bioluminescent lures to hunt in total darkness. At 6,000 meters, we start finding animals that defy every law of biology we have established. And at the deepest point on Earth, the Challenger Deep, at nearly 11,000 meters below the surface, we have found life. Soft, transparent creatures living under pressure so extreme that the water itself changes its physical properties. The ocean we think we know is a thin, deceptive blue skin. Nearly 97% of the entire water column lies below 200 meters, completely plunged in cold, perpetual darkness. This means almost all marine life operates entirely out of human sight, leaving the top 3% as merely a brightly lit exception. At the 200-meter threshold, the sunlit zone abruptly ends. Here, the solar energy driving global photosynthesis completely fails. Below this line, plant life cannot survive, and every single calorie must come from non-solar sources sinking from above. While light fades rapidly, the most immediate threat is the physical weight of the water. At 200 meters, hydrostatic pressure reaches 20 atmospheres, equivalent to 20 times the pressure at sea level. If an empty aluminum soda can were lowered to this depth, the surrounding water pressure would instantly buckle its metal walls. It is the first stark physical warning. Past this boundary, survival is no longer just a biological challenge. It becomes a brutal, unforgiving calculation of physics. Every single night, the largest coordinated migration on Earth occurs in complete darkness. Across every ocean, billions of marine organisms ascend from the depths toward the surface to feed, then sink back down before dawn. This massive pulse of biomass defines the Twilight Zone, a region of dim blue light stretching down to 1,000 meters. In this perpetual gloom, survival requires extreme anatomical specialization. Between 600 and 800 meters, the barrel-eye fish scans the water above. For 150 years, scientists believed this creature possessed fixed upward tunnel vision, studying only damaged specimens dragged to the surface. But in 2009, their deep-sea cameras captured the first living barrel eye, revealing a transparent, fluid-filled dome on its head, protecting highly sensitive green eyes that can rotate fully forward to track prey. Slightly deeper, the vampire squid drifts through the oxygen minimum zone. Neither a true squid nor an octopus, this animal is the sole survivor of an ancient evolutionary lineage, remaining virtually unchanged for 300 million years. When threatened, it pulls its dark webbed arms over its body in an inside-out spiky defensive posture. But at the lower boundary of this zone, biology meets a hard physical wall. At 1,000 meters, the water pressure reaches 100 atmospheres. This force is equivalent to stacking 50 jumbo jets on a single square meter. An unprotected human would be instantly destroyed, their lungs collapsed, and skeletal structure broken by the sheer weight of the ocean. Crossing past 1,000 meters, the ocean drops into the bathypelagic, or midnight zone. Here, absolute darkness acts as a physical medium that life actively manipulates. In this permanent shadow, roughly 76% of all bathypelagic organisms generate their own light, establishing bioluminescence as the dominant language of survival. This cold light is produced by a precise biochemical reaction, the oxidation of a substrate called luciferin, catalyzed by the enzyme luciferase. Unlike a standard household incandescent bulb, which wastes 95% of its energy as heat, this biological reaction is nearly 100% efficient, releasing pure, heatless illumination into the freezing water. For many predators, this glow is a borrowed weapon. The female anglerfish lures prey using a fleshy glowing bulb called an esca. This lure does not generate its own light. Instead, it houses a symbiotic colony of photobacterium bacteria. These microbes have traded their independent genes for a permanent home inside the fish's tissue, shining continuously in exchange for nutrients. To survive this bioluminescent battlefield, other creatures have evolved massive optical sensors. The giant squid possesses eyes that can reach 30 centimeters wide, the size of a dinner plate. These massive structures are not designed to resolve clear, detailed images in the dark. Instead, they are highly specialized to detect the faint, brief flashes of light triggered when hunting sperm whales disturb the bioluminescent organisms in their path. It is a biological early warning system built to register a single spark of cold light in an otherwise black world. Descending into the abyssal zone between 4,000 and 6,000 meters, the physical properties of water itself begin to warp. Under the crushing weight of the overlying ocean, abyssal water is compressed until it becomes roughly 5% denser than water at the surface. This extreme pressure presents a fundamental challenge to the basic biochemistry of life. It destabilizes proteins. Under such intense compression, water molecules are forced into hydrophobic protein cores, causing the molecules to unfold and fail. To survive, deep-sea organisms accumulate a specialized chemical called trimethylamine N-oxide, or TMAO. This molecule binds tightly to surrounding water molecules, creating a protective shield that preserves protein folding and cellular function under immense stress. This molecular stability allows unfamiliar body plans to develop. On the muddy seafloor, the giant isopod Bathynomus giganteus grows up to 75 centimeters long, thriving as a massive scavenger. In contrast, its shallow water relatives are tiny beach pests that fit easily on a human fingernail. But the ultimate revelation of the abyss lies at tectonic plate boundaries. In 1977, oceanographers exploring the Pacific floor discovered hydrothermal vents spewing mineral-rich geysers. Heated by magma, this venting fluid can reach 400 degrees Celsius, yet the crushing hydrostatic pressure prevents it from boiling. These vents support massive, self-sustaining ecosystems operating in total independence from solar energy. Instead of photosynthesis, specialized bacteria drive the food web through chemosynthesis, converting toxic hydrogen sulfide into organic energy. This landmark discovery proved that life can thrive without sunlight, completely redefining biological limits and providing a terrestrial model for potential alien ecosystems on icy ocean worlds like Jupiter's moon, Europa. At 8,336 meters, the lowest dwelling fish ever captured on camera drifts through the freezing black. This is the Mariana snailfish, a creature completely devoid of scales, entirely translucent and wrapped in a soft, gelatinous envelope. Down here, rigid skeletons are a liability. This fish survives with highly porous, flexible bones, thinned cortical walls, and no air-filled swim bladder to collapse. This fragile-looking biological witness exists just above the absolute floor of the planet. Below it lies the chasm of the Challenger Deep, plunging to 10,935 meters. If Mount Everest were dropped into this canyon, its peak would still sit more than 2 kilometers beneath the surface. At the very bottom of the trench, hydrostatic pressure reaches 1,086 bar. This crushing force is so intense that a standard styrofoam cup lowered to the seafloor shrinks into a tiny, solid thimble. It is a world where the water itself is compressed by 5%, and the massive weight of the ocean above rewrites the physical limits of organic existence. At 10,890 meters, inside the guts of tiny scavenging amphipods, researchers discovered synthetic microplastic fibers. Our waste arrived at the bottom of the world before our explorers did, yet despite leaving this footprint, we remain blind to the landscape. As of 2024, less than 25% of the global seafloor has been mapped in meaningful detail. We possess superior maps of the surfaces of Mars and Venus than of our own seabed. The true ocean begins where human visibility ends. The most alien environment in the known universe exists beneath Earth's oceans rather than in the distant cosmos. The abyss is redefining the limits of life on Earth as human footprints reach these hostile depths before our understanding does. We face a sobering reality. The most alien world in the cosmos is not light years away. It is right beneath us. Subscribe to explore more deep sea secrets.